Trisha Paytas has been flexing some crazy weight loss gains, and I think she's full of baloney. Even better than that, did you know recently Trisha Paytas landed the lead role in the hit new movie Dolly Parton and her meth dealer go to Arby's? But no, actually in all seriousness, this lady had claimed to have lost 12 pounds in 2 days, which is absolutely astronomical, and you know, my skeptic in me and my little bit of a food scientist nerd guy in me is saying, that's a baloney. That's a fat old baloney sandwich. Unfortunately, I can't check what she's eating or what she's doing or what this secret is because she decided to lock it behind a paywall of Patreon and porn. I thought it sounded nice. It rolled off the tongue, don't you agree? Look, to which I have no idea what kind of company would okay Trisha Paytas putting their sponsored content behind a paywall and then putting it in a Patreon that is 18 plus. But hey, if it works for them, it works for them. Also, I don't know who's really paying to see Trisha Paytas' post-op weirdly placed nipples. What it seems like is happening on there is her doing naked weigh-ins as her scale gives her positive affirmation, and she talks about her weight loss that actually happened through liposuction, which is totally fine. In fact, doing all that is totally fine. The issue is that it has changed from normal weight loss into something else. So Trisha is spreading the secret to women, the secret of weight loss to women, and she's doing it by marketing to men, which makes no sense, but okay. Now, if you'd like to hear about more of my personal relationship with food, fitness, and that all the like, you can do by clicking the card and going to a video where I talk more in depth about it and my journey with fitness and really dispelling some general myths about fitness as well as, you know, putting Tess Holliday in her place. Otherwise, let me cut to the chase and tell you the snake oil that Trisha Paytas is selling. The product she's selling is a thing called Boom Bod, and it's a very interesting product. I went and I looked at the nutrition facts and I looked at the ingredients that were in there that seem to have made this some kind of catch-all weight loss solution. If I want to be very practical about what Boom Bod actually is, it is a weight loss drink. It's pretty much just a pink diet drink aimed at women so that way they can lose weight fast and easy. Today I'm gonna look at Boom Bod and I'm gonna look at another fitness and influencer themed brand, and I'm gonna go and kind of look at what's in them and tell you whether or not it's BS or if it's something that you should buy. But before we go into what's in these products, I think it's important to at least address what a supplement is and really talk about it just a wee bit. If you're a fitness-minded person and you want to get a competitive, safer edge, there's nothing wrong with taking a sup here or there. Supplements are primarily and usually a safe way to get a little up on the competition and really optimize certain muscle growth. But let me be real with you here. Let me be abundantly clear, right? No amount of supplements or pill popping is going to replace poor diet and poor training. The issue with supplementation is that if you have a well-rounded diet and a well-rounded training regimen, well, you probably don't need supplements already because you're getting all of the things you need from the food you're consuming. On top of that, not all supplements have been studied to death, right? And with that comes a possibility for error, or the possibility just to be peeing it all out later. Some of these might be the opposite of ineffective. They might be so effective that they harm your liver. Yes, there are plenty of supplements out there that are legitimately harmful to your body. I know people who have had their livers permanently damaged because of the types of supplements that they were consuming. Now, I had thought about buying these supplements and trying them myself, but it was because I thought of that and I said, hey, I don't really want to, put myself in the hospital, that I didn't end up buying Boom Bod. But the gist you have to take away from supplements is most people don't need them. I could understand a multivitamin, maybe a fish oil, that's about it. Maybe if you want pre-workout, caffeine. It just needs caffeine. That's all you need. Caffeine is great. Post-workout, yeah, get protein, get protein, but there's no anabolic window, so just eat as much protein as you want throughout the day. Eat enough protein. Now, I should also mention, I'm no food chemist, but I am pretty well versed in sups. right? I've been taking multiple different types of subs over my fitness career. I enjoy fitness. At one point before this whole YouTube channel started up, I had actually wanted to be a personal trainer, but then, you know, I decided I was gonna go get skinny fat by talking about Trisha Paytas and Jake Paul behind my computer screen. And for reference, anytime someone tries to sell you a product like Boom Bod that puts itself up as partially a body detox, you got something that does body detoxification for you. Detoxification, there we go, big words. You want to know what does this? It's called your liver. Regardless, I digress. It's just something I noticed with Boom Bod and a lot of these other products out there that offer this detoxification, as if for some reason the toxins in your body just sit in there forever, building up and causing internal problems. The rule of thumb is, and this goes for most food and most supplements, is that you want to read the nutrition labels. Now, there's a legal margin of error on nutrition labels of about 20%. That means if you get something that's 100 calories, it could be anywhere between 100 calories and 120 calories, or less than. So there is a margin for error, but for the most part, nutrition labels do tell us what are in the food we're eating. And if we want to be a conscientious consumer, I think the general rule of thumb is to actually read what's on the nutrition label to find out what's in the food you're eating. On top of that, a lot of these nutrition labels can kind of be misleading by using scientific names to make people think they're more fancy than they are, especially with supplements. You know, a lot of people can get confused or worried of what's in their food, when in reality what we're talking about here is that every day you consume a lot of dihydrogen monoxide. Crazy. I hear that people are dying the world over. Well, maybe in Flint, Michigan, but I don't think most places that have it are suffering quite badly. Now that hopefully I've proved that I at least have a general knowledge base of what's in supplements and how they work and what the whole industry's like, what the hell is Boom Bod? What the heck is going on here? Well, their main selling point is this thing called the 28-Day Achiever Kit, which is $160. Okay. Thank God I get a free Boom bottle with my $160 purchase of Boom Bod. I don't know if I'd be able to justify that purchase if I did not have my free Boom bottle. The funny thing about this 28-Day Achiever Kit, right? The weird thing about this is that I checked their other supplements on the page, which are all, you know, general usual stuff that we see from supplement companies, a multivitamin, a this, a that, a fish oil, you know, things that are for general body maintenance. Those had the nutrition labels right there on the buying page. Like, if I wanted to see what the multivitamin had, I'd just scroll down. Very easy. The thing is, the 28-Day Achiever Kit does not have that. Why would that be? You know, bodybuilding.com puts all of the nutrition labels right there for you to see. In fact, some of the supplement companies use the ingredients in their marketing. Okay, they're very open about what's in it. But it's weird that Boom Bod's doing the exact opposite. So I went on a bit of a quest to find what was in Boom Bod, right? And frankly, I'm offended on what I found and how long it took to find. Because it shouldn't be this hard to find, as this is fairly important information, especially if you are someone who's wanting to take this. You need to take that information to your doctor for whether or not it is okay for you to do this. So I went to the FAQ, which is where I assumed this nutrition label would be. And lo and behold, it was. But look at this lovely statement I found attached to their FAQ page. Oh my god. Like, Jesus Christ, guys. Is this a weight loss solution or a fat girl fix kit for when they have to eat another pizza? Look, I don't know about you guys, but I don't think this is how anybody should live or dictate how they eat and what they eat. This just sounds like weird, flimsy justification for when you eat poorly, alright? This sounds like you're inhibiting an addiction. And let's be real here, food can be an addiction. But oh my god, it's almost dystopian that I would appropriately call this a fix kit. But you scroll on down through the FAQ and you find a question that says whether or not Boom Bod contains any laxatives or caffeine, and unfortunately one of those is not what it seems, and I'm gonna explain that in a second. So after I finally got to the nutrition info, it says typical nutritional values. And I don't know about you guys, but the whole added element of chance in my weight loss supplement seems like something I would not want to have in something that is very highly dependent on my calories, right? I don't know, it wouldn't make sense to add this random roll of the dice into what is in each little capsule of Boom Bod. But hey, okay, typical nutritional values, I guess what they're saying possibly is here is that, yeah, like maybe it's 8 calories, maybe it's 10. It depends on the exact quantities inside the little pouches. But hey, it just is a little weird to say typical nutritional values. I don't think, you know, you would see a box of Cheerios that says typical amount you should eat. It is just how much you should eat. So one of the ingredients advertised is a thing, and I'm probably gonna butcher the naming of this, but it's called glucomannan. Glucomannan. It's on a screen, you can see what it is. So this is a dietary fiber, and I assume a lot of you are familiar with what fiber is. Now, part of why you would put this in a weight loss supplement is because fiber gives you a sense of fullness. It's why things that are high in fiber are very filling. Usually veggies and fruits tend to be high in fiber, so as a result of that, you feel really full after eating one. Now, when I was reading about this dietary fiber, I found out some interesting things, and it actually made sense for why Boom Bod has their protocol of mix the shot, drink a cup of water. So, here's what it has to say about glucomannan. This is not from Boom Bod, this is from, I think Healthline, I'll leave a link. Mixed with water, glucomannan expands and can absorb up to 50 times its weight. Therefore, the recommended dosage of glucomannan is lower compared to other fiber supplements. You can also apparently choke on this fiber when it expands, so that's why you drink all that water, is so that way you get it down into your stomach before, you know, you have a choking hazard that you just like ingested. It also needs to be taken before you eat. It's not going to be effective at all, period, end of conversation, if it's after you eat something. I think it should also go without mention that most fibers, fibers are meant to make you shit. And you know, while technically not a laxative, right? To those of you in my audience who have eaten like 5 Fiber One bars back to back, what happens when you eat a lot of Fiber One bars back to back? Oh, that's right. You gotta run to the bathroom because your stool's running out, like going bankrupt in Monopoly. Considering you typically should be consuming about 3 grams of this dietary fiber a day, right? A very small amount compared to other dietary fibers. And Boom Bod actually hits the amounts you would consume in a day of 3 grams. Excuse me, let me correct myself. Typically, you would consume 3 grams of this through Boom Bod a day. But this whole relativeness in Boom Bod and the whether or not it has it or doesn't, or how much it has, means that you very well could be going over in a day and how much you're consuming of this dietary fiber. And while not technically a laxative, it's not labeled as a laxative, I think it goes without saying that this could definitely be used as a laxative. Fiber definitely has that property to it. I could see it being used, and I think it's pretty reasonable to say that. One of the other ingredients on here is a thing called magnesium citrate. Finally, something I can pronounce. Magnesium citrate is used as a laxative to treat occasional constipation. There you go. That one was pretty easy, right? And by the way, what makes this even more hilarious is that the amount of magnesium citrate in Boom Bod is way more than enough for a whole daily intake, okay? Like, if the fiber wasn't gonna make you have the runs, this is definitely gonna give you the runs. So Boom Bod, you say you got no laxatives. I say, yeah, you're just not labeling it as a laxative, but why else is that in here, okay? Why is the magnesium citrate in here? What is the purpose of that? Because magnesium citrate is used to treat occasional constipation. So please, explain that to me. If my stool is coming out normal, right? It is an appropriate, healthy poop. Why do I need to consume magnesium citrate? Because I want to poop a lot? Because that seems like it would help me lose a lot of weight fast. Especially body weight, especially water weight, especially water weight. Water weight especially, right? That's why these protocols always say, oh, drink a lot of water. You need to drink a lot of water. Because you're going to be pooping out all the water you're taking in a day. Next are acidity regulators. They regulate the acidic levels in your urine. Basically, they make sure it's at an appropriate pee level. And also, acidity regulators work as preservatives in the food, so these will be in tons of other different kinds of foods from time to time as well. But also, allow me to take a stab in the dark here and say that some of these might have some diuretic properties associated with them. And what I mean by a diuretic is something that basically makes you go pee. So if you drink a lot of caffeine in a day, you're going to actually pee a lot more, and you should be drinking more water to counteract that, so that way you do not get dehydrated. Another ingredient, beetroot red, can be used to stop inflammation and swelling. This could be used because it's directed towards women and they want to help with bloating. That's a reasonable ingredient to have, but you also get stuff like that in multivitamins anyway, so like it depends. Okay, we'll be here all day if I go through all of Boom Bod's ingredients, but I can say without a doubt that this is kind of like more of a multivitamin with laxatives inside it. Boom Bod also says they are sugar and aspartame free, but they use sucralose, which, if you guys don't know, is another calorie free sweetener that you can buy off the shelves. I actually think that Splenda is sucralose. A lot of people have said that sucralose causes cancer, but it's not aspartame, which is used in soda, and it's not sugar, which people assume is bad. Now, the whole idea of whether or not sucralose actually causes cancer is kind of up in the air, but personally, me, as not a scientist, not a professional, let me say that again, not professional, I think it's a bunch of gobbledygook. Personally, what that tells me about them using sucralose as a sweetener in Boom Bod is that Boom Bod is trying to say they're the alternative, when in reality they're just trying to avoid the usual scapegoats of fitness and mainstream health and fitness paranoia. Seriously, Boom Bod is just a laxative fiber multivitamin for people who don't want to swallow the damn pill. Which, ironically, exactly describes who Trisha Paytas is, but you know, tomato. I wouldn't even argue it's good as a laxative or a multivitamin, given the price and the many other brands that are out there that offer a much fuller multivitamin formation and complex compared to this. But like I said, if you are dead set on letting food science solve your poor diet for you, you have already lost, because it's not that easy to lose weight. It doesn't work like that. Boom Bod is by no means a cure-all, and I almost can say with certainty, you know, I have to say there's a little room for doubt, that this isn't going to help you lose weight. This stuff, the only way it's helping you lose weight is by taking money out of your wallet, honey. Generally, it should be a red flag for the average everyday consumer if the nutrition information uses things like vague language and it's hard to find. If those are things that you are noticing from a product you are looking to buy, do yourself a favor and save your money. If you're looking for subs, like I said, things like caffeine have a lot of science behind them, and yes, I understand it's a stimulant, but there's a lot more science and evidence to say that caffeine is a better weight loss supplement than some of these other things that don't have as much studies or science backing the information behind it. The next supplement people ask me to check out is a fairly popular one amongst the gamers. It's known as GFuel. People want to know what's in this and whether or not it will cause them to have like brain damage from the lead in it. So let's go over whether or not GFuel is worth your time and money. So if you want me to be very painfully honest about GFuel, it's an energy drink, and it's an energy drink that's pretty average for the market it's in. The only difference is that this one is deliberately marketing towards gamers rather than Monster, which markets to people who live in tractor trailers and extreme sports junkies, or Red Bull, who's for rich extreme sports junkies. And there's nothing wrong with GFuel being just a part of the pack, because they stand out in their marketing, and I think that's pretty clear. As for the product, I myself count calories, and you know, GFuel's a bit high on the calorie side. I like to stick to 0-calorie energy drinks if I'm really gonna hit an energy drink. You know, but the flavors I have in my house right now are about 25 calories a scoop, which, you know, as someone trying to hit a cut, is actually pretty high, especially when I have to make sure everything is very regulated. I need to make sure I can fit GFuel into my macros. The upside with GFuel compared to something like Monster or even some other energy drinks on the market is that I don't get a crash from GFuel. Now, I'm still a bit skeptical on the zero sugar claim from GFuel or where that sweetness comes from. I assume it's from the fruits that they are using in the powder. But I'm a bit skeptical on the zero sugar equals zero like crash claim as well. As someone who's taking caffeine from a lot of different sources, I can tell you personally that different types of caffeine affect the body directly, at least mine. I know I've talked with other people that have used different types of caffeine, and generally things like caffeine anhydrous tend to give people a really bad crash. Caffeine anhydrous is a type of caffeine that they make in a lab. It's chemically produced caffeine. Granted, green tea extract and coffee bean extract all have to be processed in a lab anyway, but they're considered more natural than the chemically produced caffeine anhydrous. I would like to know what type of caffeine is fueling the caffeine part of GFuel, because at 140 milligrams, they just listed as caffeine. Caffeine what? Caffeine anhydrous, caffeine from green tea extract, caffeine from coffee bean extract. You don't say. That's an issue in my opinion. I'd like to know what's in it. But the fact that I had to sit here and guess and ponder what is in the GFuel is, in my opinion, an issue, because I'd like to know what's in it. The other ingredients in GFuel are said to give you alertness and focus, and unfortunately, from what I seem to find, while yes, there are studies to say that many of the ingredients in this do that, I wouldn't conclusively say that that is the answer. And the issue is this, right? So caffeine has been tested so much that it could just be that is giving you that mental clarity, right? And to be honest, that thing is the most important factor, in my opinion, when you're looking to get that extra little jolt of energy and mental clarity that GFuel is marketing. Regardless, it goes without saying, regulate your caffeine intake. I think that's pretty easy to say. You know, I'm a seasoned caffeine drinker. I drink about 600 milligrams of caffeine a day. That's a lot, but you know, and for reference, in terms of cups of coffee, which is usually about 100 milligrams, that's like 6 cups. Do the math. That was easy. But I think the whole thing that people want me to address with GFuel on whether or not it's safe to drink or not, where unlike Boom Bod, where you'll be shitting your brains out, the issue with GFuel is that people are afraid it's going to affect their brains. And this was brought up by California's Proposition 65. Basically, this is a law in California that says if something has over a certain amount of a certain thing that can cause damage, they have to say it on the label. That's why you get on a plane in California, they tell you you could get cancer because of the radiation produced by being on a plane. So, I can't believe I'm saying this. GFuel won't give you brain damage. May have adverse effects, but that's because it's caffeine, and it could be caused by anything that has a lot of caffeine, because caffeine is the addictive thing in it that can cause that issue. The amounts of lead that are in GFuel are so small it's ridiculous, and your body can ingest a very small amount of lead, you know, before there'll be side effects and issues. But I think it goes without saying that you shouldn't be drinking caffeine while pregnant anyway, but okay. The reason I say this is because GFuel falls below the FDA's regulations on the amount of lead that can be in a product, which at the very least this means that GFuel is below 75 micrograms for an adult. The lawsuit that GFuel had with Proposition 65 is because they didn't put a label, not because of the amount of lead. And Proposition 65 is more strict than the FDA regulations. But the FDA hasn't looked at the nutrition values. They haven't looked at the supplement of GFuel. So, you know, obviously with all things, you buy at your discretion. But I'm pretty confident that you won't get brain damage, at the very least. If I tend to be wrong with this, if somebody gets brain damage from eating GFuel, I will retract that statement, but I don't think you will. At the end of the day, GFuel is a coffee alternative and a personal choice. You know, this isn't an endorsement. You know, caffeine could fill the role of GFuel. Any type of caffeine could. But if you don't like coffee, GFuel is an alternative to that. I think what I'm saying is that you should consume caffeine responsibly. Now, some people wanted me to break down Sugar Bear Hair, Halo Beauty, and Flat Tummy Tea. And if you'd like me to do so in a future video, this video must reach 5K likes, a reasonable goal for a reasonable man such as myself. I hope you come away from this being more intelligent consumers about the things you're eating. The point of this is not to be a scientist about what's in it, but rather to teach you that you can look this stuff up. Because nobody does. And for the love of God, we need to do that more. As always, be safe with what you buy. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram so you can follow my photo journey on Instagram and my anger on Twitter. And also over here on YouTube, make sure you hit the bell icon and subscribe, because you need to do two things now to subscribe, because YouTube doesn't know what good user experience is. In the meantime, I'll see you all next time.